Rocking and rolling on a Tuesday morning right here on the early line, the SportsGrid Network. It's Donnie Rightside. It's Joe Raineri. It's what we do Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 10 a.m., and away we go to set you up on your SportsGrid day. Now, we got a lot of hot topics to talk about, but one of those topics that I can't seem to shake right now, Joe Raineri, is the fact that we're talking about the Rams and their quarterback situation. To help us set the table, let's hear right from the head coach, Sean McVay, on some updates here.
Sounds good. I agree with everything he said, Donnie. I agree with everything he said. I'm just saying.
I love it. I love what Sean McVay said there. Hopefully everybody out there heard that as well. But we'll get that up here in just a few moments. But we do have video, Joe. So before that video actually pops up, just setting the table that we just talked about in the previous segment. The issues are you don't get healthier during the season as an older player. If you're basically taking an epidural to get ready for the season, I think that clip is ready to go for us here, Joe. So let's take a listen.
You know, like we've said, we're going to be flexible and fluid. I think more than anything, I feel for Matthew because of how much he wants to be out there and feel good. Ultimately, what ended up happening, had a great workout, felt good, but then, come in today and it doesn't feel great. And so didn't think that was the right decision to be able to push him. We've kind of always talked about flexibility, being fluid with some of the plans. And I think more than anything, I feel for a guy that, I really care about that wants to be out there more than anything else. We're going to be smart, but he didn't feel good enough, and we didn't think it was the right thing to do based on, how he woke up feeling today.
Sounds troublesome, Joe. You heard what he just said there. Had a good workout, but then didn't feel good the next day. What's going to happen when he's out there throwing 45 times a game with absolute stud pass rushers pancaking him in the pocket here? I don't like what I hear at L.A.
Well, what he didn't offer up in that, Donnie, in that press conference was any sort of new hard timeline for when they expect him to return. I mean, he had been... They had labeled him, week to week earlier in training camp, but now apparently they're saying they're just going to evaluate him on a day-to-day basis. Like, what are we looking at here? Like, what is the timeline for you to be able to get him ready? Because none of what he just said leads me to believe there's any sort of confidence in there being a timeline that he's on his way back in any way, shape, or form.
Football players are as tough as all get out, and so is Matthew Stafford. He took a beating in Detroit. He came to Los Angeles, finally had a good football team, good head coach, good play caller, and ended up winning a Super Bowl. But you never beat Father Time. And if the issues are coming up like back issues, Joe, that's torque. That's moving in the pocket. That's getting out of the way of a sack. That's getting pancaked 3 to 4 times a game, being able to get back up here, not saying, ooh, I don't know if I'm going to be able to walk on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday before I finally can get out of bed on a Friday and start practicing again. Those are the issues that you have because it's not just being out on the field. It's, hey, I felt good today, and then the next day you don't feel so good. So what does that mean for practice? Because understand this too, Joe. From a quarterback perspective, you are the captain of the football team. You command that huddle. Your cadence here is what everybody's used to on the offensive line. You having that chemistry with your new wide receiver, Devontae Adams, along with obviously Puka Nacua, being out there on a day-to-day basis. You can't go, I'm not going to practice basically during the week and I'll see you on Sunday. That doesn't work. We understand that. You got to be in it to win it all week long, sitting there in that locker room, in that meeting room, in that film room, and then delivering out on the practice field because timing is everything. That's what I worry about. You're missing key contributions from the quarterback and the wide receiver group right now in training camp because Matthew Stafford's back hurts here. That is troublesome as you can get.
It's not great at all. And nothing, again, if I'm a Rams fan, nothing I'm listening to McVay say there makes me feel any better. I mean, we heard after the Cowboy game, right, that we're sitting him, but he'll be back at practice and everything will be good to go, right, after the preseason Nope. Now, all of a sudden, that's the look of dread on a coach's face that we've seen time and time again. Listen, what was it? Stetson, Bennett, that you got Jimmy G, right? You got Stetson, Bennett.
Yeah.
You've got some guys that might be able, I hate the Jimmy G idea, but you do at least, you have to believe it's a coach's league, right? Coaching matters in this league, and he is one of the best, McVay, to do a lot with a little here. So if this does extend into the regular season, I'm still pretty confident that McVay, whoever he puts under center there, he'll put him in a position to succeed. I still like the ceiling for the Rams, but obviously it takes a hit if you don't have Matt Stafford for the season under center.
Joe, we're handicappers. We like to analyze things, and how's that work in those futures markets here for the Los Angeles Rams? Because I'll be honest, in the offseason, I was really excited about the Rams. There's a lot to like. Quote, coach, been a top 5 play caller in the NFL, Super Bowl already under his belt. Matthew Stafford, as good as they get when he's healthy here, Super Bowl under his belt. An organization that spent some money at running back to keep Kyron Williams happy. He's a very good running back. You added a wide receiver to go with Puka Nacua. I liked everything about that offseason, which also included a young and developing front seven that can get after the pass rusher. But everything breaks down. When your lead dog and Matthew Stafford isn't healthy, what does that mean for the future? Week number 1. 2.5-point favorite there versus Houston. You take a look at the win total, sitting there at 9.5. Double digits is what they have to win here in that NFC West to make the playoffs. A -144 price. Everything gets put on hold. You lose a linebacker, Joe, a defensive end, a cornerback, a running back. It's like, okay, still got everything intact because your quarterback is there. Entering into the season, my vibes from saying, man, what an off season. I got to hold my breath right now. How about you?
I have a little bit more confidence in what they have set up behind there. Right. And a lot of that comes from, listen, I thought Stetson Bennett looked pretty good against the Cowboys there. And I know they have the position players. They got a running game. They've got explosive wide receivers. Again, McVay is a guy that is going to put whoever the quarterback is in a position to succeed and not lose the game. He's never going to ask any of the backups to go out, all right, need you to go out and win a game. They'll figure it out. They'll buy as much time as they can in order to be able to get Stafford back on the field. No guarantees, but they will play it smart.
Yeah, that NFC West here, right? You get the 49ers with a lot of question marks, talented team, but many injuries and guys that you hope just stay healthy throughout the season. Arizona, maybe that up-and-coming team here as we take a look at, and also in the NFC West, the Seattle Seahawks. So I look at the Rams as the most talented team, top to bottom. That goes out the window if we're not going to get a healthy season out of Matthew Stafford, and we're worried about him starting week number 1. Put it this way, Joe. We're worried about him getting out of the gates. He's not finishing the race. We know that. We know how this works. Not a 26-year-old that can rejuvenate overnight. In his 30s here at the end of his prime, that could be certainly an issue. There are some other injury situations that we got to get the people updated on, which includes with the Philadelphia Eagles and the holdout. Cam Ward over there in for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Come on back. It's the early line on a Tuesday morning. Injury information. It happens at this time of the year. You don't even get to the starting block, Joe, and some people getting knocked out for the season. We saw with the Chargers with Slater. I mean, my goodness, one of the best tackles in football just signed a big deal. He's out. You know, got re-upped this offseason too, Landon Dickerson, making a lot of money. He looked like he might be down for the entire season due to a practice at Lincoln Financial Field that happened late. Step on somebody else's foot there, twist up a knee, and away you go. But Ian Rappaport tweeted yesterday, Eagles Pro Bowl guard Landon Dickerson, who suffered a meniscus injury on Sunday night, is having minor knee surgery in the coming days per me and Mike Garofalo. He's considered week to week with the goal of being available to begin the regular season. Best news you could possibly have for Jalen Hurts and Saquon Barkley, one of the best guards in football. Looked like he might be down for the year or 6 to 8 months. Looks like it might only be week to week here. And I wouldn't be surprised if you see him Thursday night versus the Dallas Cowboys to open the season at Lincoln Financial Field, Joe.
That should surprise nobody, because anybody who understands the history of Landon Dickerson, it goes back to his final season there at Alabama, I believe, when he suffered a season-ending knee injury at Bama there, and then he wasn't able to participate in any of the pre-draft stuff or anything really with the first summer with the team. And then, of course, last year, Donnie, he was pulled in the game in the second half of the NFC Championship game. He was limited in practices right up until the Super Bowl, and yet, yeah, he managed to play, didn't he? And he played extremely well. So this is about as tough a dude as you get. And the fact that he's been dealing with injuries like this now his entire career, and he still figures out a way to avoid the big injury, kudos to this guy. This guy is a warrior, and it goes to show you exactly what that offensive line of the Eagles, that's going to be a very interesting group this year.
Like, he's a mountain of a man. Like, if there's any way that we can pull that picture back up on the screen from that tweet and just look at, like, Landon Dickerson. Because, look, we don't play NFL football. We're not defensive tackles, Joe. We're not linebackers, safeties here. But, like, the tush-push comes at you. Like, this dude on the screen is coming full blast off the line of scrimmage. Like, how do you stand your own ground? I don't even care if you're 300 pounds. Like, when he just road great you into the end zone, that's what the Eagles do. I don't know how you can get around Landon Dickerson in that situation.
And he's a guard, so imagine that inertia as he's pulling around the end and coming after a defensive back at like 198, 200. Like, you lose, dude. Like, you lose every time. This guy and this entire offensive line, by the way, which is one of the strengths of the Eagles. They do have some depth there. They're still trying to figure out. I think Tyler Steen would be the backup if he can't go, but They have dumped a lot of assets into building that offensive line for the Eagles, and they got a Super Bowl ring, don't they? And they're going to defend that pretty well, I think, this year.
By the way, it's also interesting too, Joe. Like when I talk about like we grew up in the day, like usually like guards would pull out, and if you're a cornerback, you could take the guard's leg out and sort of sacrifice yourself. You can't do that anymore. It's called like a block below the waist for the defense. So you just have to take him head on when he's coming at you like 350. Nonsense at this point here. Let's get to the Steelers camp here. Cam Hayward, not to be confused with Cam Jordan, not to be confused with Cam Ward, the quarterback. Everybody gets those confused. It's easy to do. Defensive tackle Cam Ward for the Steelers. He wants his money, and he wants it now. Otherwise, he's not going to provide his services. What do you think about that?
I usually get him confused with Cam Stewart, so I'm glad that you absolutely clarified that for us there, because that is tough.
Too many Cams.
But I will say this though: he is currently the 22nd highest paid defensive lineman in the league. Now, you tell me. Is he what, the 22nd best defensive lineman in the league? Absolutely not. Don't forget, this market got reset over the offseason here, and he is not asking for the world, but you're talking about a dude last year. He was tied 6th in sacks in the NFL. He had 8. He was 4th in pressures. He was 4th in tackles for loss. He had more batted passes than any other defensive lineman. Does that sound, even at 35, 36 years old, like the 22nd best defensive lineman in the league, Donnie? I see where he's coming from.
By the way, I'm assuming this Alan Saunders is like a beat writer maybe for Pittsburgh, because I'm just looking at the comments on X below, and it's kind of funny because like the first comment is, did he mention anything about if he got injured again or if he didn't make the Pro Bowl that he'd give money back and, blah, blah, blah. And then it says, does he have to give money back for all the games he missed in recent seasons? People get up. Look, nobody really sides with the athletes all that much. Like, brother, you're making $15 million. Just be happy you're doing it. That's not the way professional works. It's not real life the way we operate. And also, this guy's a great locker room guy. Like, he's Mr. Steeler. Just make him happy this year. Try to get a Super Bowl run, and away you go. More hot topics on deck next, right here on the Early Line. The fun never stops in the Early Line. It's what we do. We get the people ready for the morning. You don't even need coffee. You don't need caffeine. We give you the caffeine right here on the SportsGrid Network. It's Donnie Rightside. It's Joe Raineri. Now, the host of Game Time Decisions, Monday through Friday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern start, right here on the SportsGrid Network. The one, the only. He's the true Kevin Walsh. And I think it's at the real Kevin Walsh on X.
No,
did I get that right there? Oh, I didn't get it right. Sorry about that.
It's all right. That's a good callback though. Like Moose will really appreciate that one there. Excited to be here though. I will say I have had some coffee though.
Yeah.
I don't like Donnie. Let's potential coffee sponsorships. We love coffee. Anybody want to sponsor this segment? Brought to you by, and then that could be you. So keep that up for grabs.
We're a certain bagel store up there. They'd love to be in the sponsorship business at this point from what I'm hearing here. But we'll find out that. We know we're here to talk about quarterbacks, Kevin, and quarterbacks in the preseason. You know what I'm enjoying right now? We'll start on this. Offense, and more offense. Me growing up, Kevin, hey, preseason's on tonight. Awesome, 9-6 battle. We're not getting that anymore. We're getting people drop 50 points. But the game we're going to focus on, the Cleveland Browns, 30 points. The Carolina Panthers, 10 points here. Shedeur Sanders, 14 of 23, $138, and 2 tutties out here saying, this is my team. This is my town, Kevin. What did you make of Shedeur's first appearance?
I think it was really important because you have 4 quarterbacks on the Browns roster, and that's one too many. So if Shedeur Sanders was atrocious, if he looked like Quinn Ewers did for the Dolphins, Shedeur potentially could end up being cut. That was a possible outcome if he played like that. Instead, he was really good. Now, he was not probably as, like, if you just based it off of the online reactions, he wasn't that good, but it was a good time. And he felt like a superstar legitimately within the game. And I think Sanders, through that game alone, basically secures the roster spot. And unless the Browns coaching staff is being dishonest with themselves, he should have a leg up now on Dillon Gabriel in the back end race, which means if, let's just say, Pickett is traded and Sanders is QB2, then when the Browns get out of the bye week, guys, I don't see how it's not Shedeur Sanders under center with an opportunity to start 8 games, if not more, for the Browns this season.
Yeah, but let me ask you a real question here when it comes to him. Him and Myles Garrett in a drag race in the parking lot, who wins? I'm just curious because they both like to go 100 miles an hour, apparently.
Listen, I almost wonder, you know what? Myles Garrett, was he told to go a little quick? Just try and do it, find a, if you get a nice open road. We're trying to find a way to tank here. We're trying, you know what I mean? Not too many suspensions coming down. I still can't believe. Myles Garrett, by the way, will always, for me, be the person to blame for trade requests in the NFL not mattering. Because with Parsons, we know it's about the contract. For McLaurin, we know it's about the contract. Myles Garrett was like, guys, I know you want to pay me. I want to win. And they went, how about 40 a year? And he went, I actually like losing. I'd rather lose. Losing's more enjoyable than winning. So what does he care about any of this? Suspend him for 14 games. That's fine. Everybody handshake, and let's see if they end up with 1 or 2 wins.
Exactly. Unreal. Cleveland's going to have some tough decisions to make, too, because, Kevin, when I look at the roster itself, my evolution of thinking about how you should operate an NFL team has changed over the past couple of years. Mainly the Philadelphia Eagles are picking up championships like, okay, win or bust. I don't understand. Like, you look at the odds market. Joe Flacco's a -310 to be the starting quarterback day one. What's the point of this? I don't know. Kenny Pickett is +360. That's not your future. Like, I've told Joe multiple times this week alone, why don't we just play Shedeur Sanders game 1 and Dillon Gabriel game 2 and rotate these guys? So at the end of the year, we go, all right, Shedeur's the better quarterback, or Gabriel's the better quarterback, or neither are the better quarterback, and we won 2 games, and now we can pick our quarterback. Why would you start Joe Flacco in game number 1?
So this is the real tricky thing, Donnie, where the start to their season is miserable. And I don't mind asking Flacco, hey, take these first 6 for us. All right. Handle the trip to London. Let's give, Jerry Jeudy an opportunity, David Njoku an opportunity to settle in, have nice seasons. Let's give this roster a chance. Because listen, team surprise, I don't think Cleveland will be one of them, but give this group an opportunity. The real confusing piece of this whole thing, though, Donnie and Joe, is unless the Browns aren't picking in the top 5, which is unlikely to me, they're expected to draft quarterback no matter what. In what world is Shedeur Sanders or even a Dillon Gabriel going to play long enough and well enough to hold off? If Arch left, I know we don't think he will, but nevertheless, Cade Klubnik, Garrett Nussmeier, Drew Aller, all these guys with all this hype around them, that's one of the oddest pieces of this puzzle is the Browns have 2 rookie quarterbacks that are noteworthy, and we all expect them to draft quarterback. By the way, they have multiple first-round picks next year's draft.
Am I the only one that feels terrible for Stefanski here? Because he was saddled with Deshaun Watson, having to play him. Now, all of a sudden, it's a what have you done for me lately industry there, Kev. And when does the pressure from the front say you got to play Sanders? And if you don't win, by the way, you're fired. He's in like a no-win situation here.
It's not great. I do wonder how much of how the Baker stuff played out is on Stefanski, how much of it was on their medical team. I remember that in real time. Like this, when DRS and I were doing the early line, and we would come on every Sunday. It's like, that's interesting. Baker doesn't look like he can throw or walk. He'll be starting this week. Browns catching a touchdown. And, oh, look at that. Baker's still really good. Loved him. Like the guy who actually went out there, though, and won a playoff game in Pittsburgh with the Cleveland Browns is a really good quarterback, and the Browns don't have him on their roster. So I wonder how much Stefanski is to blame for that. And here's the other thing, Joe, where he loses a little bit of leeway with me. How much is he to blame for that Gabriel pick? Because the Gabriel pick is always looked at through the lens of Shedeur. There's not a soul alive who thought Dillon Gabriel was supposed to go inside the first 3 rounds of the NFL draft. And Gabriel is now soundly being beat by Shedeur Sanders, it appears, throughout this training camp process. So, look, I don't think Stefanski should be fired. I kind of don't think he will be fired. Actually, I don't get that read. I think they could lose all but 2 games and he comes back but maybe it might be a little rational for me, like in August, right? Like I have a level head about some of this stuff that talk to me in week 6 and I'll start firing about half the league.
Yeah, shout out. Well, our game plan was always to make sure that we were always going to pick Shador, but we wanted a quarterback ahead of him to keep his head on straight, to understand he's not the lead dog. Like, nothing makes sense for what the exact motivation for what the Browns are doing at this point. But talk about motivation here for some of these rookies to win Offensive Rookie of the Year. Ashton Ginty, Kevin, I expect him to be plus 1250 after 3 carries, -1 in his opening day appearance, like the Wembanyama days. Like, this guy can't play after game number 1. He'll be fine. Cam Ward plus 300 price. You have Hampton, Hunter, McMillan, Henderson, and Shuck. And down the list we go. Is it just Ashton Ginty and Cam Ward's world and we're all living in it? Or is there some opportunities down the pipe that you could check out here?
Yeah, I will say Cam Ward is tough because I think he could throw for 4,000 yards, but I also don't think the Titans are going to be in the postseason race, really. They could beat a win total. Doesn't mean they're going to be in the postseason hunt. My thing with Ashton Ginty, and I understand, nearly wins a Heisman Trophy, incredible at Boise State, but so much about running backs are their situation. Ask Saquon Barkley. Omarion Hampton is in a better situation, and it was like, he might battle though the backfield with Najee Harris. Well, then
Najee's got no eyes. Yeah,
I don't know.
Can't see.
Listen, I'm just telling you this.
Guy can't see.
Half of the Chargers beat reporters actually aren't sure if that guy can see. So Omarion Hampton, to me, should be way closer to Ashton Ginty in this market because, to me, he is the full bell cow. I truly don't know if Najee Harris is legally blind. Like, that's on the board.
I'm telling you, superficial wound, no big deal. What does that mean? Is his eye hanging out of his head? Like, just put that thing back here. He's going to be able to show up at camp on Monday. I mean, how's he going to pick up a linebacker when he can't see the guy, Kev? Come on. My goodness.
It's not good. It's not good. We'll talk a little Hampton on Game Time tonight, by the way. We got a couple good things coming up.
Love the state at this point. That's Kevin Walsh. It's Game Time Decisions. We love Kevin on the network. He's the greatest. Come on, back with us, Kevin, please. More fun, more segments. It's how we do it. It's Donnie Rightside. It's Joe Raineri and Kevin Walsh back with us for another segment to talk some NFL action, which it's heating up. Like, we got college football, not this Saturday, the following Saturday. But before you know it, Thursday night in city of Philadelphia, questions will arise. Is Landon Dickerson going to be there? But more importantly, is Micah Parsons going to be there? But that's not the conversation we're having now, Kevin. It's the MVP, which right now, Lamar Jackson extending his lead by doing nothing in the summer. You love to see that at a plus 430 price. Josh Allen 6-1, Burrow 6-1, Mahomes plus 650. Talk to me about Lamar Jackson. He hasn't even played yet. Why is he extending his lead here?
Yeah, I think, I don't know, the Ravens win a preseason game. It's like, they're back. They're so back. This is probably going to carry over to the regular season. The tricky thing for Lamar, I mean, the comparisons for Jokic are so obvious as it relates to the MVP races, where, Lamar Jackson rips off an MVP 2 seasons ago, where it was all about the record. He should have not won league MVP. He was not close to the best player in the league that year, but it was the old school, who's the quarterback on the team with the best record? Give it to him. And by the way, I say old school, that is entirely how that award worked until last year. The 2 best quarterbacks were Jared Goff, don't kid yourself, and Mahomes, who was average at best. But that was swept under the rug all season by everyone but me, and now all offseason, everyone's like, you think Mahomes will get back? Oh, interesting. I wonder where all that conversation was last year. That's neither here nor there. The tough sell for me on Lamar in the MVP race, and I think this is fair, there's no way he isn't worse this season than he was last season. 41 passing touchdowns to 4 interceptions, one of the best passer rating seasons the league has ever seen, and doing that while being such an electric runner. Maybe the Ravens go out there and go 15-2, and the award resets to best quarterback on the best team, because the Ravens could be that good of a football team this year. And that's probably why Lamar is positioned how he is. But if we're going to hold his stats up against his own stats from last season, he will take a step back.
It's a big ask for him. It really is. I mean, let me ask you a question here, though. Give me your top 3 quarterbacks in the league. If you were starting a franchise tomorrow, is Lamar your number 1 pick, Kev? Is it him? Because I don't know. I don't know that I'd go Lamar as my guy to start the franchise. I don't think he's the most valuable player. And until somebody can prove me that Mahomes should not be considered for this award each and every year, who are your top three guys?
So this is one of these things where I think it's all about whether or not you believe these guys are going to cross the finish line eventually, right? Let's just remove Mahomes and Hurts for a second, right, with the recent Super Bowl MVPs. Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, and Joe Burrow are three quarterbacks that I think a lot of people would say with certainty, these guys are going to eventually win a Super Bowl and win a Super Bowl MVP. There's only so many to go around. Only one of them can make the Super Bowl this year. And again, that is if they can actually get through Mahomes, who just cannot stop making Super Bowls, right? It'll be interesting if we ever see one of that or two of the trio play one another in a conference championship game instead of always having to play Patrick Mahomes. I am someone who believes Lamar will eventually get over that hump. I think Lamar Jackson is too talented to not win a Super Bowl. I thought Lamar was much better in last year's postseason. He had a slow start to that game, but basically Mark Andrews just let everything fall on the floor realistically in their comeback effort against the Buffalo Bills. On the other end of it, everybody's favorite quarterback in the world, Josh Allen. I don't trust Josh Allen like everybody else. I don't think Josh Allen is inevitable to get over this hump. I think it's very on the board that if Josh finally beats Mahomes, gets to the Super Bowl, and it's too much of a relief and he doesn't win that game. Like, he has, to me, more hurdles because the Mahomes thing is such a thing. He's lost to him every single time, despite always beating the Chiefs in the regular season. So I think when you just take the last two MVPs, right, and put them head-to-head, Joe, I'll take Lamar winning that Super Bowl and getting over the hump before Josh Allen.
Let's take a last MVP that we saw in the month of February. That was Jalen Hurts here, who now apparently is a tier 2 quarterback for some talking heads, and also the lists that come out, which I do find, which you can put different players in their place, because I know those go back to, Dan Marino didn't win a Super Bowl. You're going to say that Trent Dilfer is better than him because he won. Well, that's going to the far extreme. But I look at things like the MVP race. Jalen Hurts is a 20-1. You know else is a 20-1? Jordan Love. You know else is a 20-1? Justin Herbert. You know, it's a 10-1 half of Jalen Hurts. It's Jaden Daniels in Washington, who got his pipe smoked there, basically, in that NFC Championship game before going to the Super Bowl and had an easy victory where the best quarterback that we've ever seen, Patrick Mahomes, got outdueled by Jalen Hurts. I'm not saying Hurts should be 5-1 up there with Lamar Jackson at this point, but I do find it funny where a guy comes off a season, leads his team to a Super Bowl, wins an MVP. It's like, you know what? I had him rated higher last year than I do now this year because his team's too good. Where are we going with this, Kevin, with Jalen Hurts?
Yeah, I mean, listen, the Hurts conversations, about 95% of them are terrible. So I would just, listen to someone like myself on it because the right read is obviously there. People, they talk like, oh, well, Hurts could never win an MVP. Oh, you mean the guy who actually has a first place MVP vote and would have won the award if he didn't get hurt a couple of seasons ago? You mean that guy's never going to win an MVP, but Herbert's a lock to win MVP. Jordan Love's a lock to win MVP. Oh, you mean Jared Goff, who's actually never going to win an MVP? These are guys that are better than Jalen Hurts. None of that makes any sense whatsoever. And again, the difficult thing is Jaden Daniels, half the number of Jalen Hurts. You're not winning MVP finishing second in your division. You're not. Now, the Commanders could win the division. I understand that. But you can't justify Hurts being double the number of Jaden Daniels. Again, for a decade or so, best quarterback, best team, that's how you win MVP. So Hurts, even if he doesn't win it, that 20-1 number, you can tell should be comfortably shorter, especially when a quarterback in his own division is half the price and shouldn't have won Rookie of the Year, by the way.
How about that? It's Kevin Walsh, Game Time Decisions. Catch him at 6:30 p.m. Eastern, right here on the SportsGrid Network. What's coming up tonight on GTD? Any special balloons? Any big announcements tonight? What do we got?
Balloons? I don't know. After we're in the Party City, we will be doing some season-long player props, though, DRS. We're looking for some value.
I love it. You know what else value I like? Kevin never takes a day off. The man doesn't go on vacation. That's why we love him.
Unreal.
On the SportsGrid Network. We'll be right back.